get into the tea. So we're going to talk about, before I get to my main topics or whatever, there was something I need to address. So last week, I did two things. I did the rundown, and then I did a special on the line episode, because as soon as we were done with this episode of last week's episode 9 of the rundown, because this is the 10th episode, production, EJ, who was my producer, his partner DJ, who used to produce my radio show, the Chris Avalon Show, basically was like, because, after we're done with the show, I don't necessarily just sign off. I sign off with y'all, but there's still a show after the show. So there's an after show that we don't tape. We just talk about the show, and we talk about a bunch of other things. So DJ brought up, he was like, did y'all hear about this Shangela situation? And started breaking it down, everything, mind you. And then I was like, I actually did hear about it, because I heard it from, I think it was YBF Podcast, wrote the article on it. But I actually heard about the story days before, because I have people who work in the industry and they tell me stuff. And I'm working, I dip my toe in the industry, and I'm around, I've done things as well. So I'm no new bird. I've been doing this for a long time. Some of y'all just may have heard me, but Chris Avalon been around for a long time, trust and believe. So, a friend of mine basically got on the phone with me, and we started talking about this, that, and the third. So I did a video on it, because I was like, okay, so now it's getting out. It's all over social media. People are making comments. I saw it was all over Facebook as well. But I wanted to check and see if all this was actual facts, or whatever the case is, especially with the new season of We're Here being on HBO Max. So I did the video, I posted it. YouTube, everybody was pretty much respectful in the comments, and was like basically saying a lot of what I said. Like, they had no problems. Like, you know what? I have a hard time believing this, because Shangela doesn't seem like the type of person. But if this did happen, she needs to get ahead of it. This needs to be something that's discussed. She hasn't been discussing it. I've been seeing her Instagrams or whatever, because I do follow her and I'm a fan. So she's been traveling, she's been doing a lot of things, but no mention of this. I posted the video on my, once I'm done with the show, I do edit, and then I post the video on other streaming platforms. So I posted it on YouTube, I posted it on Instagram, I posted it on TikTok, I posted it on Facebook. The place where I got the most views and the most pushback was TikTok, which is not surprising, because TikTok tends to be a lot of where I get a lot of my growing audience. I've been growing a pretty fast audience when it comes to viewerships and comments and all this stuff. So that's why I kind of like TikTok, because TikTok seems like it's more interactive. It's a very interesting thing. I don't like the fact that they only give you 3 minutes to say what you need to say. I don't like that whole vibe with the videos, which is why a lot of times, if I do little TikTok videos with the green screen, I can cut it and do it in that short amount of time. That's neither here nor there. But I did like the fact that people were saying, well, you shouldn't be putting this story out here because you don't necessarily know it's true. Or they were getting mad over the fact that how long I was taking to get to spreading and breaking down the thing. First of all, I understand it's TikTok, whatever, and y'all want shit in 3 fucking minutes, but that's not how I do. When I'm bringing a story up, I'm trying to bring all the sides and put it in context, because I don't want people trying to misconstrue what I'm saying. So people who have a problem with how long I take to get to a fucking point, go somewhere else where they'll give it to you in 12 seconds or less. Because that ain't me. I say what the fuck I want to say on my own goddamn program. And if people don't like it, you know where the fuck you can go. And that's for anybody. I don't give a damn who it is. Because at the end of the day, you stood around long enough to watch the shit. So I don't care how long. It could be 2 seconds, 2 minutes, or 25 minutes. The fact of the matter is, you watched, and thank you for being a fan. Now back to the rest of this other stuff. So I put the stuff out. Oh, hey, David laughed. He said, oh, she cursing. So I put the story and stuff. I talked about it. I said what I needed to say, and I put it out there. I was like, you know what? Whether or not this is true, she needs to get ahead of it. And also, just because somebody is not a damn show in, I ain't changing it. I said what I said. In the words of Lanithia Monique Leaks, I said what I said. And I stand by what the fuck I say. Now, I wasn't meaning no ill will to Shangela. I did not talk shit about her. I did not mean to say anything mean-spirited. But here's the thing. When something this big comes out that could be detrimental to your career and damaging, I do feel that you need to get ahead of it. I don't care who it is. I don't care if Jesus Christ came down off the cross and raped somebody. If it's true, you need to address it. Yeah, or Tamisha Iman. I said what I said. Hold on. I'm feeling very Dominique Jackson right now. Coat the throat. Read the bitch. So, or I should say Electra. Abundance, Wintour, Evangelista, whatever last name she decided to take at the time when she read that lady in the Hamptons. So I said all she had to do was get ahead of it. Now, I did speak to Daniel, the guy who made the accusations. When I posted the video on my Instagram, he basically messaged me on Instagram. He DM'd me and was like, you know what, thank you for giving me a voice. He wanted to clarify some things. He said it did not happen during this current season. A lot of the alleged situation happened. Alleged, because you're not trying to sue my ass over no shit. I'm just reporting what is out there. It was alleged. He did slide up in the comments, and this video said, he said, I talked to the creators about what happened to me prior to that message being sent this past February, but this all happened to me in Louisiana while filming season 1, just to clarify. And he basically slid in my DMs and was like, this had happened, basically like what it said, in the earliest stages during season 1. I know a lot of people say, so why is he speaking now? Why do anybody speak? We're going to get into the Nick Carter thing where people are going to say the same thing. Well, why did he go and wait until, or this girl go wait 20 damn years to come out and say that she was allegedly raped by Nick Carter? We're going to get into that tea after this story because it flows into the next topic. But, so I was like, when this accusation came out, so I basically, he told me a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not going to get into the details of what exactly he said to me behind the scenes because that's neither here nor there. And that's not a lot of people's business. However, and I don't know if people would want me to share any of the other personal stuff, but I will say this. I did invite him. I did put out the olive branch that you feel comfortable enough that you want to come and be on the show and tell your side of the story. You can, you know, the door is always open. I said the same thing about Shangela. If Shangela wants to come and tell her side of the story, it don't have to necessarily be with me, but any other outlet. I'm waiting for the gay blogs and all these other places. I'm waiting for Out Magazine and The Advocate and all these other people to come out and ask her. So if it gets big to the point where he did say that he's speaking to the police, there may be a lawsuit filed and all that other stuff. So I'll allude to that. But when he's ready to speak out, I'm going to say it like Morpheus said to Neo in The Matrix. I can only show you the door. He's the one that has to walk through it. So whenever he's ready to do what he needs to do, he can be able to do that. But to wrap this all up, because I don't want to spend too much time on it, I said what I said in the video. I put it out there. We should have the right as curious people or reporters or bloggers, influencers, whatever the case is. When a story like this comes out about our community, we should be asking the question of, shouldn't it be investigated regardless of the situation? I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's not true, but we should be able to sit and ask the question. Is someone like this capable of this? Because y'all say this about a lot of people. Oh, they don't look like they would hurt a fly and this and that. Then they said the same shit about Norman Bates. And we saw what happened with that. He dressed up in drag and was killing people. I know it's a movie, but I'm just saying, sometimes you never know what people are capable of in a situation. Serial killers, sociopaths, we always hear they was charming. Didn't they say the same shit about Jeffrey Dahmer? Oh, he looked like he wouldn't hurt nobody. He wasn't a problem. Mind you, we had all kinds of smells coming from his apartment. Anyway, that's just going to a whole nother direction. But I just wanted to say, so I'm going to keep abreast of this story. I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm going to do what I always do. When shit come out, I don't care who it is. If a story comes out that needs to be addressed and needs to be told or whatever the situation is, I'm going to speak on it. And I'm going to ask the questions. Because that's what we should do. Because we don't address situations enough about sexual abuse in the gay community, abuse in the gay community, meaning physical abuse, domestic violence, all of that stuff. I was going to get into the topic about Rico Pruitt and the whole situation that was going on with him and Fame, and the story that Nico Aesthetics put out about Notorious Big, who I did a blind item on him and his drug addiction. If y'all follow me on Facebook, you know what I'm talking about. And him beating on his exes and then putting that shit on Twitter. I was going to do that story, but I feel like the domestic violence in the gay community, I feel like that topic is something that needs to be a separate story, like a special on the line that we should do, and I'll bring it up and I'll address it in that time. I don't know when I'm going to do the topic, but I need to gather all my ducks in a row and get all my bullet points together before I tackle this thing, because it is definitely something that is not talked about enough in our community, and I feel like it is something that we need to all jump on. So to